It's Marty or Dylan, and continuing with the Dexter related videos, I decided to flip the Dexter blood theme into a trap beat. The blood theme was composed by the late Daniel Licht, and fun fact, he actually used Logic.
It helps me sketch. I kind of work with the paper and the computer, and then I pull up the notation in Logic. I mean, I sort of come from an older school where I used to sit at the piano and write, and then you'd go and have it played.
One of my favorite tracks from him is this one. It's got like multiple names. Link me your favorite Daniel Licht track below. Alright, let me show you how I flip the sample. I'll be cutting the beat into 9 pieces so it is straightforward, but if you do have any questions, leave them down below. I will also put timestamps if you want to skip around, but I'll try to wrap this up quick. After dragging the sample by the neck into Logic, you want to figure out the key and BPM. Now, I'm a bit tone deaf, so in order to pick this lock, I went over to the audio effects section, down to metering, and thankfully Logic provides a tuner and BPM counter. However, these can be a bit finicky, so I did double check online. The BPM is 90 and it's in the key of G sharp minor. Okay, we have the key and the BPM. Now it's time to actually do something with it. You can fully manipulate samples, however, I wanted this to be recognizable. I decided to cut sections to create a loop, and I wanted a little bit of variation, so I cut 3 loops, and I stuffed the rest into bags. Low, medium, and high energy. We're going to make a beat drop, so I arranged the sample like this. So now it is low, high, and medium. I also lowered the pitch by 1 semitone, moving the key from G sharp to G minor. The sample doesn't really come in very strong because it is arpeggiated, so I wanted to add a few subtle layers just to fill it in. I am a cheapskate, so I used Spitfire Audio's free Labs plugin and picked the Rat's Choir. I found the highest octave available and placed a G note because if you remember, we lowered it by a semitone earlier. I duplicated the track.
Should need to be put down.
Put that down an octave. Duplicated that track and put that down an octave, so we have a 3-octave stack. I then panned these 2 tracks left and right, bounced it in place and added effects.
Stop clowning around, Wiggles.
Like I said, I just wanted to fill it in, so I added this cool slide sound from Labs, gives it a little bit of tension. Same thing, I placed a G note, but I bounced this in place and threw it into a sampler for more control.
Everything is in my control.
Because I have a section without the iconic strings, I wanted to add a subtle layer in the higher section, the higher frequencies. Also from Labs, I grabbed this choir and just created another 3-octave stack, but just on the same track. Now, I'd usually leave room for an artist, but since this beat is meant to stand on its own, I figured I'd make these drums busier than I typically would. I do lower the energy a little when it goes from the high to the medium section. I didn't want a super aggressive 808 to drown the sample, so it mostly just sits underneath and fills out the low end. I also threw in a nice sub bass for the outro just to fill that low end again.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I heard.
Alright, I wanted sounds from the show for this, but it was quite difficult because there's a lot of music throughout the show which would clash. I did manage to grab this drill sound though. I tried to get like a knife shing from the show, but I opted for a random sample I found. For the drop, I added these sound effects for the transition. I grabbed the kick from the drums and just reversed it. I got this metal impact sound. I also added this riser impact sound. And with all of them combined, it sounds like this.
Tonight's the night, and it's going to happen again and again.
Lastly, we have just a monologue from season 3 of Dexter when Dexter finds out that Miguel is using him.
He's been using me the whole time. He used me.
Leave a like if you enjoyed and let me know what sample I should try to flip next. Hope you have a good one. Take care.
He's been using me the whole time. He used me.